In this video, we are going to be exploring the theme Rumi's call for universal brotherhood. As the theme very much suggests, much of this video is centered around an idea that has been put forth by Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi, who was an Islamic scholar, theologian, and a Sufi mystic. While Rumi is not explicitly mentioned in the book Beyond Autobiography of a Yogi by Oswald Pereira, his very radical idea coincides with Yogananda's notion of universal brotherhood. As Rumi said, the truth was a mirror in the hands of God. It fell and broke into pieces. Everybody took a piece of it, and they looked at it and thought they had the truth. Now, after around 700 years, we have Paramahansa Yogananda, a yogi from Gorakhpur, India, who traversed much of mainland America in the early 20th century in the quest of educating Americans about how they can experience their communion with God. Being the wise guru that he was, he mastered the art of marketing Kriya Yoga to an American audience that were pretty much disinterested in the niche subject of South Asian spirituality and mysticism. You may ask then, how did this yogi garner so many followers to learn about the art of Kriya Yoga? Well, the answer to this question hinges upon Yogananda's surety of coming in contact with the divine nature of Christ, who, according to Yogananda himself, was the most revered avatar of God in the United States of America. Despite identifying as a Hindu himself, he did not use his identity as a tool to restrict his pathway of perceiving the divine nature of Christ through Kriya Yoga. In this chapter, the Krishna-Christ connection, Pereira provides a multitude of examples that reiterate Yogananda's endless pursuit of finding commonalities between the holy books of the Bhagavad Gita and the Bible. Which is very much synonymous with the Krishna-Christ connect, as both Krishna and Jesus are the main characters of the respective religious texts. The idea of detachment from material bondage, forgiveness, loving one's enemy, loving one's neighbor as yourself, and showering devotion to God are core tenets that are inextricably connected with both of the religious texts. Now, we'll explore the following hypothetical story by Yogananda that satirizes a situation in which Krishna and Christ cross paths. Screech. The sound echoes in space and reverberates in high heavens above. As Lord Krishna applies sudden brakes to avert a head-on collision with Lord Jesus Christ, both gods are traveling to Earth on an important spiritual mission. Christ to India and Krishna to India and Christ to the US. It's apparent that there's a grave error in the timing of their itineraries, for the gods always travel at different times. But the two gods are happy to meet. They hug and shed joyful tears, celebrating their divine connection and their oneness. They both belong to one supreme being. In an epiphanic moment, Krishna and Christ decide to swap destinations and exchange roles, and so slipping into each other's shoes. Krishna travels to the US and Christ to India. Will they succeed in propagating each other's teachings and prove that they are one? Will Krishna spread Christ's teachings as if they are his own? Will Christ speak like he is Krishna? And so, once I completed reading this stanza, I felt a sense of reassurance that there exist people like Paramahansa Yogananda who conjoin these great stalwarts by effectively linking their respective messages to humanity. The reason why I felt reassuring is because we currently live in a deeply polarized world where people pursue exclusivist agendas for the sake of dividing people. To this end, famous religious and spiritual figures often live in the illusion of an inferiority complex where they propose that their theological framework is the only path towards salvation. Hence, Yogananda's call for universal brotherhood is best elucidated within the aforementioned poem, where he motivates readers to consider the inextricable connections between Krishna and Christ, both ultimately being manifestations of the Brahman at different times and geographical locations.